Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you know who it is. It's World of Wrestling here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite April 26th, 2023 review. My thoughts on this show, it was whatever, pretty much. I mean, honestly, there was two good matches on the show. There's been all kinds of shit happening that's AWire and out of the blue messed up. But AEW wasn't terrible, but it wasn't that great either. I mean, there's all kinds of creative problems going on. Two really good wrestling matches, as I already mentioned. And a main event that I don't understand why it was the main event. I don't know why we didn't see MJF with Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin as the main event. And then we got the announcement from Tony Schiavone about the change in what was going to take place at Double or Nothing if next week on Dynamite that Jungle Boy and Darby Allin win in their tag team match, that they'd be added to this match when originally it should have been that in the very beginning of Fatal 4-Way. I mean, if that was the direction they were going to go with, I personally felt that they did this deliberate because they were trying to stretch things out, not have to worry so much about trying to do so much creativity with this, because I don't think Tony Khan had enough faith in himself to believe that he could create enough interest with the storyline with the way things were, I guess. And he just felt it was probably best to go this direction. That way they could stretch things out, create a little corruption with Sammy Guevara and MJF, and then be able to move forward with the Fatal 4-Way idea that was originally planned to begin with. So I think that was just their overall thought process, I believe, and that's why they went the direction that they went. Anyway, that's getting that out of the way. But anyway, we started off with the AEW International Championship. Bandino going up against the defending champion Orange Cassidy. I'll say this, the AEW International Championship has become a prestigious title under the possession of Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy has done very well with this belt. Tony Khan has been booking him correctly. He's making the title feel like a sportsmanship title, a title that's based on a sports type of mentality. He just needs something of a good story to build between himself and another opponent going into a pay-per-view instead of these random, like, open challenges for the International Championship. I feel like as if we're watching John Cena with the U.S. Championship doing open challenges like he did in 2015. Don't get me wrong, those matches were awesome, but not every match that he had a legitimate story to it. But eventually they would build to a story between himself and the challenger. So it did work out anyway. That's kind of what I get the feelings from here. Speaking of some off-the-topic thing, I'm not doing Random Wrestling Talk episode 57 tonight. I'm extremely exhausted from work, and I was going to do this plus the live stream tonight, but I'm just too tired to do all that. So I'm going to postpone episode 57 on Sunday so we can go over some more news, because I'm coming across a lot of good wrestling news that we'll be able to talk about for about close to 2 hours possibly. So I will go on air on Sunday night. Anyway, again, this match between Bandino and Orange Cassidy was a good matchup. I enjoyed it. A lot of fun to watch. They both did amazing stuff. But, I mean, Bandino lost. Orange Cassidy won. I mean, I'd like to see a storyline built between Orange Cassidy and an opponent that they choose. But they haven't done that yet, so I don't know what to say. So Orange Cassidy hands the title to the ref before calling Bandino up to his feet, presenting him with a pair of shades out of respect. And backstage, Adam Cole promises to call Jericho out and says he will come find Jericho if need be. Cole walks off as Orange Cassidy and Bandito come by to see if Renee is going to interview them after the open contest. Upon learning that no, she was there to catch up with Adam Cole, they both reply, "Oh," before walking off. This to me kind of gives me a little bit of a sign, just a smidge of a sign that they might go with a character change with Orange Cassidy. I mean, he's still going to be the same Orange Cassidy with his layback mentality, but he might actually become a heel. So we might see a slight change in his personality maybe, but still the same Orange Cassidy with the shades and the layback personality, but just not giving a fuck. Maybe starts becoming a cheater and does all kinds of shit. That'd be kind of an interesting little twist. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with them going that direction, but I have no problem with the way he is right now either. So I've been liking Orange Cassidy and what he's been doing with this mid-card title. It's a hell of a lot better than what they're doing with the TNT Championship. TNT Championship's meaningless. I mean, that just feels like a title that just any fucking loser can have. I mean, you could have a fucking jobber take that title, and it wouldn't mean it would be the same way as Wardlow, Will Hobbs, or anybody having that fucking belt because it's trash. So coming back from the commercial break, Renee is standing by with Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Darby Allin, the latter of whom asked for this time. The two agree that there were some things said that got out of hand before making the agreement to Perry to have Darby's back in the Pillars Tournament Finals later on tonight. They hit a couple of quips on each other before we go back to the ringside for our next match as Jeff Jarrett makes his way to the ring before officials kick his friends out. Out next is Dax Hardwood before the match gets underway. So we got Jeff Jarrett going up against Dax Hardwood in a singles match. Cash Wheeler is nowhere to be found in this show. I don't know what the fuck happened to him, but he didn't do much of anything. You have the fucking entire group with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal with Sanjay Dutt running around acting like a fucking buffoon idiot. Distracting Dax Hardwood, and Dax Hardwood playing the typical retard babyface gets played and is finished off with the last stroke by Jeff Jarrett for the pinfall and the 1-2-3 for the win. I'm dumbfounded. This guy has produced great matches in singles competition, and then he's given a match with Jeff Jarrett that's turned into a sideshow clown show. I do not understand this. Very disappointing matchup. This is by far one of the worst matches on the show, outside of fucking Jade Cargill and Taya Valkyrie for the TBS Championship. And I will actually get into that in a little bit. The ending of that one was really a fucking pathetic ending. I'll tell you that much. And the match was not all that great. Taya Valkyrie is a great performer, but working with Jade Cargill, I mean, I give up. Anyway. Backstage, though, Tony Khan is standing by where he announces the opening ceremonies for this year's Owen Hart Foundation tournament will be at Double or Nothing, and the tournament will be held in Owen Hart's home country of Canada during the summer, including Forbidden Door, with the finals being held in Owen's hometown of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm very happy about that. I'm glad they're making this a traditional thing, kind of like a King of the Ring type of situation. I really appreciate that. I think that that's what it should be. I think it should be a traditional thing out of respect of Owen Hart and what he has done in the wrestling business before he passed away. And he was a great man as well. As a human being, he was a good person. So was kind of sad what happened to him, and I'm glad Tony Khan shows a lot of respect towards a man who did a lot for the business, and I think very underrated, along with Rowdy Piper. I think those were two guys that should have became world heavyweight champions at some point in their career, and neither one of them did. I mean, Rowdy Piper should have definitely became WCW champion back in the day in the late 90s when the NWO versus WCW was going on. I do not understand that bullshit. That was just nonsensical. And Owen Hart never beating Bret Hart for the WWF World Championship belt in a steel cage match at SummerSlam of 1994 made no sense to me either. I don't quite understand that bullshit, but whatever. I think Owen Hart should have won that match and at least held it for a few months at least. But hey, it is what it is, you know? Doesn't matter to me. It's over and done with. But it was great stuff back in the day. Wardlow had a match with an enhancement talent that did absolutely nothing, got his ass kicked very quickly in less than 2 minutes, maybe less than that, probably less than a minute. After the match is over, Arn Anderson takes the microphone to talk about Wardlow needing to refocus and be more aggressive going forward, but is soon interrupted by the arrival of Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. He mentions the draft, and when he said the draft, Arn Anderson, I was going, are you talking about WWE draft or something else? The NFL draft was coming up, so when he said the NFL draft, I was like, oh, okay, now you're making sense. I didn't know that we were talking about WWE because there ain't no franchise in WWE. Boy, do I got a lot of good stuff on WWE coming out of the news and rumor mill this past week that I'll go over with you guys on Sunday. That's going to be really funny as shit. But yeah, we have a stare down between Luchasaurus and Wardlow with Christian Cage there. Not a fucking joke. And Arn Anderson was talking about how Wardlow is a franchise player. He's the dynasty of the company of AEW. And yet Tony Khan booking him the way he has made him look like a fucking pathetic loser who's just another dude on the roster. He did not make him special. He did not do anything but tear his reigns as TNT champion down and make them weak and unmemorable. And that's pretty pathetic and sad in its own right. So it is what it is. All right, so following that, backstage, Renee is with Sammy Guevara and MJF, who addressed the Pillars tournament, Double or Nothing, and the fat check Sammy took last week before they exchanged presents to send us to the commercial. Now, there was a commentary by Renee Paquette openly stating that the AEW higher-ups are not liking the way this is. Don't they think that this is a little making the tournament meaningless and everything else? And they look at each other and go, screw what people think. And they were being very friendly, a little weird. I mean, it was funny and all, but, like, come on. Can we, like, get a little real here? We all know what's going on. It's a fucking con to everybody thinking that this is actually important, but whatever. I mean, what they're doing is not, degrading the tournament that they were doing, I should say. So back from commercial break after that interview, RJ City is standing by to address the big tag match later tonight, but he gets attacked by the Blackpool Combat Club, who promise they will leave scars tonight. And they did some major damage to Takeshita. So we'll get into that when we get to the end of this review. Back at ringside, Darby Allin makes his way to the ring for our next match. He gets ready to face Sammy Guevara to determine who faces MJF at Double or Nothing for the AEW World Championship. Out next is Sammy Guevara himself, but MJF comes out to the ring to presumably keep an eye on his investment from the commentary booth as he presents everybody at commentary some limited time MJF Dillard pickles. Wonder how they taste. I'm not a pickles guy, but maybe I'll change my mind about that since coming from MJF. I mean, he's a kosher Jew. I think I might appreciate his taste in food. So, hey, maybe his kosher pickles might appease me. Who knows? Anyway, Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. Very good matchup. Very enjoyable. Ending sucked, but the match was enjoyable nonetheless. There was an Eddie Guerrero situation that happened here on the show to end it. Sammy Guevara pretended to get whacked by the fucking skateboard, and he just pretends he gets whacked in the head and lays down on the mat, acting as if he was attacked, and he was not. The referee never seen anything occur, and the referee still called for the bell after all this. Now, the funny thing is, Sammy Guevara in the middle of this match is sacrificing his body to do some outrageous stunt on the outside of the ring with Darby Allin on top of the table laying down, and Sammy Guevara does this outrageous fucking maneuver. Looked like he was doing a 630 spinner splash or some shit. I don't know how many fucking rotations this guy can do in the middle of the air, but geez Louise, he made Ricochet look pathetic with his little tumbling act he does off the top rope. But yeah, he does this stunt on the outside with Darby Allin on top of the table, and he goes right through the table on top of Darby Allin, and there's no disqualification called there. Yet, there was no finish to the match, and he's just throwing his body around for no reason with a fucking terrible finish. Unbelievable. But the match was good overall. A very entertaining matchup. I enjoyed what I saw. So, but MJF and Sammy beat up on Darby until Jack Perry comes running down to the ring. Now, earlier they made an agreement that Jack Perry would have his back during this matchup. He did not. Never even showed his face when MJF was kind of getting involved in this matchup and distracting Darby Allin from this win. So he got mad at Jack Perry, of course, when he kind of came down a little late. Darby shouts at Jack for not being there sooner as MJF runs them down. The entire time we have been hearing Tony Schiavone having some sort of conversation with Tony Khan over his headset, and now announces that Sammy did earn his title match at Double or Nothing, but he may not be the only one. So next week there will be a tag team match, Jungle Boy and Darby taking on Sammy and MJF. If the champ and his number one contender can win, the match will remain the same. But if Perry and Darby Allin win, the match will become a fatal four-way match, as they particularly were going to book in the first place. So, again, there's probably a lot of people that are upset about this, how they detoured the whole thing instead of just getting straight to the point, and I explained just earlier in this video the reasoning behind that, so I don't need to reiterate it. MJF, though, is furious about the news as Jungle Boy music's hit, and the two reluctantly shake hands ahead of their tag team match next week. Tony Schiavone also called before he went ahead and was going to announce this match for next week's Dynamite. He said to MJF, "Oh, why don't you shut up, you prick?" I love that. I fucking love that. I thought that was a great comment and insult to MJF. Thought that was funny as shit. All right. Back from commercial break, Renee tries to get a word in with MJF and Sammy Guevara, but they are still incensed by what was announced. Sammy follows MJF to the car, but is told the car is full despite the camera showing us an empty vehicle, which is fucking hilarious. And he said the champ leaving his friend behind in the process. That was fucking hilarious. Sammy Guevara is like, yep, okay. Like as if he was getting anywhere with MJF. Like they were really legitimately best friends. He was asking him to take a dive for a fucking match so that MJF doesn't have to have a hard time at the pay-per-view itself. The fuck out of here. Back at ringside, Adam Cole makes his way to the ring with a microphone in hand after what went down last week. He's clearly angry about not only being jumped by the JAS, but making him watch the Outcast beat up Brett Baker, promising to beat up Jericho and Bad for what he did. Cole threatens to come find Jericho, but his music hits only for Jericho to show up on the screen, saying that he doesn't even want to be near a man like Adam Cole, calling him a coward for letting his wife get beat up. Jericho won't do anything tonight, but his guys will, and this brings out the JAS to go after Cole until Orange Cassidy and Bandito, which I don't quite understand why those two were even showing up. They don't have nothing to do with Adam Cole, but okay. Maybe they'll build some story out of this. This is just the beginning stages of it. I have no idea. Until Orange Cassidy and Bandito come out to even the numbers ever so slightly, and JAS is still in control as they beat up Cassidy and Bandito as well, until Roderick Strong makes his way out to make the save. I was very happy to see Roderick Strong in AEW. I mean, it's not a humongous pickup by any sense, but you get Kyle O'Reilly back on TV. We got the 3/4 of the Undisputed Era there. Bobby Fish, I mean, from what I've heard, he is injury prone. He's been getting a lot of injuries over the last several years. So him being involved in AEW or really anything in pro wrestling, any promotion's just taking a risk with him since he's injury prone. So I don't know if he's really a viable asset. I mean, he's a great tag team partner with Kyle O'Reilly, but other than that, I mean, Bobby Fish is not really that necessary. When you got Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, they've been a tag team before when Bobby Fish was out with an injury in NXT. They were very strong and very great tag team, especially with that one tag team match they had, I believe, in 2017 or 2018 with Orny Lorcan and some other, I think it was a British wrestler. I forgot his name, but they were a good tag team as well. I was, praising Orny Lorcan, his tag team partner, during that match, and was hoping at some point we'd see them as the NXT Tag Team Champions, which I do believe does happen later on, but they become heels to do this, and they didn't stay champion for very long anyway. So it is what it is. Anyway, Strong practically clears the ring of the Appreciation Society as Cole makes it to his feet, and the friends stare each other down for a moment before showing their appreciation for each other. JAS regroups on the ramp as their adversaries tonight stand tall, but Cassie and Cole stare each other down before the champ and Bandito leave the ring. Okay, so QT addresses what happened lately, threatened by Hobbs to fix the problem, and talks about going to Plan B. Don't know what Plan B is, and I don't really care what Plan B is. Will Hobbs wants everything to be fixed and for him to be able to challenge for the TNT title to get his title back. I don't know why you'd be interested in that. There's other championships like the World Heavyweight title. There's also the International Championship. with Orange Cassidy, which I think probably would be more beneficial to Will Hobbs to go after that title than anything else. But hey, it is what it is, I guess. But I'll tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind Double or Nothing. Will Hobbs wins the International Championship from Orange Cassidy, and then we see at Forbidden Door, we get to see Will Hobbs go against Jeff Cobb for the International Championship and see Will Hobbs retain that title against Jeff Cobb. I think that would be an amazing matchup. Not to mention, thinking about it, their names kind of rhyme. Based on their last names, that is. Anyway, TBS Championship match. Tyra Valkyrie went up against Jade Cargill in a meaningless fucking match. Tyra Valkyrie looked idiotic in this match at the end. She wasn't too shabby, but I will admit this. Fucking Jade Cargill sucks. She may be a great muscular wrestler, but as a performer, I don't particularly give two flying shits about her. But yeah, I did not care for this match. I mean, Tyra Valkyrie did her part as best as she could to help Jade Cargill get to a good match, but it wasn't all that big of a deal to me. But yeah, Tyra Valkyrie was trying to go for the road to Valhalla, but remembers that she could be DQ'd for that because Mark Sterling made a ruling on that legally that she can't do anything with that move since Jade Cargill does it. Now, I gotta be honest with you folks. I was watching the match and she let go of her finisher, and I didn't realize that they did that. You want to know why? Because I don't watch fucking Rampage, and that's where they spent most of their time, was on Rampage building this fucking storyline. So if you want to go ahead and build a storyline on Rampage and then bring it over to Dynamite, you might want to include a promo video of the fucking build up towards this match to give people some kind of idea, not that this match is all that important, or better yet, take a match like this and put it on fucking Rampage where nobody's fucking watching it anyway, because nobody gave a shit about this match. And the ending of this was absolutely ridiculous because Taya Valkyrie looked like a fucking moron at the end. She lets go of the move and then she just stands there, does absolutely nothing, and then is rolled up for a pinfall, and she's also grabbing a lot of ass on Taya Valkyrie as if she's pulling her tights, which is fucking hilarious as well. I thought that was funny. She's grabbing a pair of her ass and just pulling it. Sick. But yeah, she retains the championship. After the match is over, though, Taya Valkyrie gets really pissed off at Aubrey, the referee in the match, and she tries to put her in a road to Valhalla, and then the referees restrain her from doing this, which I thought was hilarious. Yet we got Cody Rhodes knocking security guards all over the place, but Taya Valkyrie can't do the same, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Took like maybe 2 or 3 guys to restrain her. That was it. Big whoop. Anyway, backstage, Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter stand by to address what went down last week. They say this is far from over, insisting the only thing that will stop them is being sent to the morgue. Wow. They ought to take the storyline and stick that in the morgue along with the AEW Women's Championship, because that title's second fucking gets second attention to everything. So we go ahead. We got Bullet Club Gold take on Ricky Starks and Shawn Spears on Rampage, which that could be a good matchup, actually. They do a rundown of everything for Rampage and upcoming Dynamite and Excalibur. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but man, he was talking like he was actually being fast forward on tape or something, because that was just insane how fast he was talking and telling us all this shit that's coming up in the next couple of days between Rampage and the next episode of Dynamite. But anyway, we get the main event with Butcher and the Blade going up against Takeshita and Kenny Omega in a tag team matchup. Butcher and the Blade getting the main event of the show is absolutely mind-numbing. I still believe that the Darby Allin-Sammy Guevara match should have been the main event of the show, and then making the big announcement afterwards, but whatever. Anyway, the ending of this matchup had Takeshita hit the power drive knee on Butcher for the pin and the win. After the match was over, the pair celebrate in the ring, but they were cut off by Bryan, who says he saw one professional wrestler get the pinfall and one amateur who looks like he's exhausted, like he's past his prime. Bryan says he sees a prodigy in Takeshita who should really be something if he trained with he fucked up Bryan Danielson. I couldn't believe this happened. Bryan Danielson said the Elite instead of the BCC first, and the fans got on his case, and then he really rethought his what he said. He was probably like, did I say that? And then, did I fuck up or something? He says, no, if he trained with the Blackpool Combat Club, who come out to beat up Kenny Omega until Young Bucks come in for the save. The Bucks head to the ring to deal with Moxley and but Takeshita tries to reason with the Elite to no avail. Moxley gets to the Elite, and the BCC join in, raising Takeshita's hand, but he doesn't seem to side with them either. Bryan says Takeshita needs to think about what he is doing, and when it becomes clear he won't side with the BCC, Bryan says he's made his decision before Moxley takes a big jab at Takeshita with a screwdriver. BCC head up the ramp to regroup with Omega checking on Takeshita as the show comes to a close. So that's pretty much what happened here on this episode of Dynamite. Wasn't the greatest show in the world. I think last week was better. But it is what it is. Enjoying the BCC. I think they're been a blast to watch. They're like basically a faction of Stone Cold Steve Austin type of mentality going on backstage, plus what they're doing in the ring. They're getting several segments, attacking people and doing shit like that. I think it's really cool. I think it's kind of building towards a storyline between the Elite and BCC for a big mega match. Hopefully a Double or Nothing, maybe a blood and guts match. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. But anyway, guys, that's all I have to say here at this time. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, of course. Leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.